I've been thinking of Labyrinth support, something that'll put it into meta relevancy without making it too overpowered. The problem with Labyrinth, both as to why it's too weak and too strong at the same, it's too weak because it's a fucking 2011 ass design deck. It doesn't do enough most of the time. So the few things it does has to be really, really good. And whenever the really, really good things it can do is available, God, is it fucking toxic as fuck. So if we make Labyrinth support, that's just really good for Labyrinth. That it makes playing all those other toxic trap cards, like Dimensional Barrier, worthless. Then Labyrinth can be fun and playable and meta relevant. I was thinking of giving it a Draco Tail treatment, where it mostly plays mid range. Because there's already enough. Labyrinth already kind of feels like Draco Tail before Draco Tail was a thing. Has a lot of turn zero plays, and doesn't really do much during its turns. I've restricted myself to only allowing up to 3 new cards for the support, and coming up with support that I think will be valuable without being too overtuned. At least overtuned in the sense that it's uh, the power creep of Yu-Gi-Oh hasn't actually gotten to that level yet. Like it has to be within the level of the current format. That being Draco Tail, Yummy, and admittedly Mitsurugi. This is certainly not it, man. This is assuredly not it. Why not?
You don't have to, put on a show. We like you already. 955 for ID Kirby, 907 for Blue Scooty. Blue Scooty set up one row off the bottom for a Tetris.
Four hand traps and a 1 card starter.
You
Holy
know what
fucking
I mean,
shit.
Tayo. You know exactly what I mean. So, yeah, big drought apparently. Wonder if we get any drought counters in the chat. Kirby's got the max out, A38, 992 for Blue Scooty.
This is a searcher. Why isn't this 33? Wasn't that like the ongoing philosophy for Genesis? But yeah, a lot of things that should be a lot of things that search that should be 33 aren't.
As of level 29.
Like everyone's favorite 7th Tachyon.
And Tetris for ID Kirby B44. So Scooty now with a small lead and also 8 lines in hand. So if this does get to level 39, then Blue Scooty will have a few extra lines here to try to make up any score that he might need to. But Tetris for Kirby, CO2. Blue Scooty now does not need to make up any score because he is ahead. C77 for him, CO7. The C means 1.2 million. The D means 1.3 million. Java and T counted the drought. It was a 65-piece drought. Insane. Blue Scooty's setting up in column 4. Gets the Tetris. Ends up making some holes here, but it's not going to cost too much because Kirby has also got some holes that he's cleaning up. And Kirby really with just 40 lines to go until 39. That speed is going to double. It's unsurvivable. And so Kirby, 100,000 points behind. Now, Tetris is here worth north of like 45,000 points. So, you know, this gap can be closed very quickly, but can't spend too much time burning at this point. I'm just going to have to go, and hope to try and catch up and hope, you know, Blue Scooty slows down. And there's Scooty F58. And Scooty's got the rollover. That's 1.6 million when the score rolls over. Kirby has got the 1.4 million. So it's like a 200,000 point lead for Scooty. This is not really going to be survivable by Kirby at this point unless he can set up for like, I don't know, 5 Tetrises. And there it is, a 1.7 million for Blue Scooty and a 1.43 for ID Kirby. So Blue Scooty going to take game number 1. ID Kirby looking to tie it up. Blue Scooty up 1-0. All right, starting off with the STOILJ. STOILJ. Did we get a square too? Wait a minute. No, I mean, not. What were we missing? The I piece. No, what were we missing? We had 6. We started off with 6 in a row. I missed it. O is the square. Yeah, O is the square. No, what were we missing? Oh, Z. We needed a Z. We didn't get a Z. Damn it. Yeah, we got the Z. There you go. I have a query on Tetris for wall kicks on the super rotation system. Will it eventually become intuitive? I mean, there's no guarantee that you'll find it intuitive. It depends on how long you play and whatever, but it might. SRS is the rotation system for NES Tetris. Isn't that what it's called? SRS? Isn't that what it's called? SRS is modern Tetris. Oh, SRS is modern. What is the rotation system on NES Tetris called? NR. Is it really called NRS?
Super rotation system and the NES rotation system. Wow.
NRS. Right-handed Nintendo. That's true. RNRS. Right-handed Nintendo rotation system. Because Game Boy is left-handed, right? My God. $218 for Blue Scooty, 138. But yeah, who knows what will become intuitive because it depends on you. Just depends on you, man.
I'm not playing Type 1, right? Because it's 10 fucking points.
Nothing is intuitive for me, I'll tell you that. 183 for ID Kirby, 244 for Blue Scooty. Long bar over Tetris, Kirby 207, 289 for Scooty. So up until this year, these players had never played against each other in Classic Tetris Monthly, but they had played each other in a bunch of CTL, and Scooty had won all of those matches. But the first time they have faced each other in CTM, though, the first time was last month, and now they're facing each other again. So after all this time, you know, Kirby's been in Masters pretty regularly since January of last year, and this is the first time they've run into each other. I guess it's kind of easy to miss some of the top players since a lot of them are, you know, just mostly going to be in the top 8 from their qualifiers. So they start in the top 16. So if you're mostly starting in the early rounds, then yeah, you might play in the same tournament as someone for years and miss them. Now with this new, you know, flat bracket. $435 for Blue Scooty, $327 for ID Kirby.
Oh, right, you're a wind monster. Oh my god.
531 for Scooty, 397. Now 420 for ID Kirby. Scooty's into 19 at 557. And Kirby's in at about 423, something like that. Tetris for Kirby, 509. Blue Scooty at 662. They're 3 lines apart, about 100 and... Well, now they're no lines apart. It's about 150,000 point lead for Scooty. You're still waiting for your opener, the Tolstoy opener, TOLSTOJ. All right, well, we'll look for it. We've already looked for the golden opener. So now we're going to look for the Tolstoy. $679 for Kirby. Tetris for Blue Scooty, $780. Yeah, that's funny. War and Pieces.
Guys, I don't think Gordian Slicer's good.
Tetris for Scooty, 876, 772 for ID Kirby. 963. Blue Scooty scrambling, opening that right side, skimming it down, trying to bring this down before level 29 hits. And Kirby also trying to do the very same thing. He's going to miss that T-spin. This is going to be a tough task for Kirby. Try to live this on 29, and he is not going to do it. So Kirby going to top out 902. Blue Scooty already good. And he is going to take game number 2, go up 2 games to none. Three, two, one. Tetris. Starting off with 2 long bars. Not possible in the original game, but it is possible on the championship cartridge, as Kingsman calls it. That referee doesn't like it. The ref doesn't like it. Tetris for Kirby, 48,000, 49,000 for Blue Scooty as we get underway in game number 3.
Oh wait, I'm dumb. I was gonna say I'm gonna use this when they attempt to ritual summon with any of their on-field megaliths, but I just remembered not Triplura as a card. It happens.
The last time that Blue Scooty did not
May as well
win the Masters event was August of 2025, right? Isn't that what it is? So we would have won. Yeah. So so we didn't have one September. So the last time he didn't win was August. That's weird to think about. Because there's no September. He won October, November, December, and January. $241 for Blue Scooty, $280 for Kirby. Scooty was the winningest player Masters-wise for CTM in 2025. He won 5 events. Oh, all right, Mr. Brain is here now. So now we can start. Now we can start. 356 for Blue Scooty, 376 for ID. Now the real game start. Mr. Brain is here. So in 2025, Scooty won January, February, October, November, and December. Dog won 3, April, May, and August. And then Andy and Alex T won 1 each as well. So 10 overall Masters events last year. We're supposed to have 11, but Mold got me. 448 for Blue Scooty, 447 for Kirby. So close one. Here in game number 3. $462 for Blue Scooty, $482 for ID Kirby. So what tournaments should we do in April, y'all? What should we do? $536 for Kirby, $534 for Blue Scooty. Oh no, we can't have the one with the robot voice. I gotta skip that one. Tetris for Blue Scooty. He entered 19 at 564. Kirby already into level 20 now. And Kirby's got to win this one. The match after this one will be Tetris time against last month's finalist, Cobra. Tetris for Kirby, 721. Scooty at 726. So both players with gaps. Scooty trying to get his cleared out. Oh, that left side for Kirby. That is a problem and a half. He got to get a bar over there. And no, that is a top out for Kirby. So that left side 4s and 5s taps doing him no favors. That is going to be a top out. Big yikes. Unfortunate top out for Kirby on level 23. And that means Blue Scooty will
right, I can only use
to
ritual
the
monsters
top 8. Congratulations, Scooty.
to
Kirby,
summon
tough way
Plura.
to go out.
Fuck me,
Hope
dude.
to see you next month. GG's to you. So let watch Scooty do this out while I report that 3-0 Scoots. We might not watch the whole thing because we do have to move on. But Scooty, of course, can match is over. Scooty can play all he wants, but we'll watch him get to 29. We're going to bring you Tetris Time versus Cobra. Although you stat people, I don't know if these Mega Mullins, do these Mega Mullins count towards stats? Like, does that count? When does Cobra play? Right now, Colin. Right now. All right. Well, I am going to go ahead and bring up, start deforming this scene here. So we can bring up our next players by Kirby. Hello. No, not Cole. Who was it? Hey, everybody. This is your old pal, Vadweller, host of Classic Tetris Monthly. And I'm asking you to do me a favor. If you like this video, hit thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, please subscribe and bang that notification bell. Join our Discord server, the largest classic Tetris community online at ctm.gg/discord. And follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/monthlytetris. Thank you, and have a nice day.
Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Fuck me.
Every single air unit, and it was an absolute banger. Before we get started, got two quick announcements. Number one, I'm going to be doing my next live stream on March the 16th at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Daylight Time, and you should come hang out and watch me embarrass myself in the live league because I'm getting back on that live league grind. The second announcement is a friendly reminder to sign up for the Advanced Wars by Web Team Tournament. All the information will be found in the description, the announcement video, the rulebook, the sign-up form, and you should sign up. Right now, we've got 4 teams, but I've decided that if we get more than 4 teams, I will raise the prize pool to $500. So I just feel like it's my way of giving back to this amazing community, and you should totally sign up. We already have several legends of the game signed up. Darth Noob, Semi-Original Guy, Poland, Chloe Box, Aria Fireheart. They have all signed up, and it's going to be amazing. But you could be
Should have
thinking,
waited until the
well,
main
I'm not
phase,
going to
although
compete with
they
some
could
of those
activate this
legends.
at any time,
Never
so.
fear, because we are going to separate the players into ELO brackets, so you will only be matched up against players of a similar skill level. So everyone is welcome, and you could still be a valued member of your team and contribute, even if you're not 1,400 in the live league. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope to see everyone there. But now let's look at this banger match here on this map, New Kids on the Block. I am not too good on this map because I've got a record of like 2-8. But basically, this right side is Gray's strong side, as they got the 2 bases, and the left side is Yellow's strong side, as they got the 2 bases down here. These little valleys here get pretty contested, and usually the weak side gets these 2 really, really early, and then just tries to hold on to the weak side the whole game. And then we've got 2 amazing players, and I actually got submitted this game, and you too can submit games by either messaging me on the website or by using the Google form in the description. But on the top, in the gray sky, we've got the Villager playing as Adder. I've personally never played against this player, and they're rated 1013. And Adder has no day-to-day abilities, but Adder is the Slytherin of Black Hole because he is a crafty serpent. His normal power, Side Slip, gives all his units +1 movement, and Sidewinder gives all of his units +2 movement. One of the strongest COs in Tier 4 Standard, which is a Tier 4 match, and pretty basic. You just use your movement powers, you go in, and carnage ensues. But speaking of carnage, Adder is going up against Grim. And where Adder is a Slytherin, Grim is a Dementor, because he leaves nothing in his wake except death. Units gain 30% attack, but lose 20% defense. So Grim is the glass cannon indeed, and absolute destruction goes on the map, both sides, when Grim is on the field, and that makes Grim guys so Grim games and Grim guys so exciting. Grim's normal power is Knuckle Duster, which increases that attack bonus to 50%, and Haymaker, which increases that attack bonus to 80% as the super. And yeah, just maximum carnage with Grim. Grim is piloted by Nussbrick, who is rated 935, I believe, but I could be wrong about that number. And let's get into this amazing action here after the longest intro in the history of Advanced Wars by Web content. Well, actually not. That was not the longest intro, but you get the point. All right, so both players will be capturing stuff. I disagree with. I more agree with the gray weak side approach than the yellow one. I think going after this city first is absolutely the right play. I've seen good players do that, and also you're in position to start capturing some of these a lot quicker. Whereas this guy right here, yeah, you can chain onto this city, but I don't think it's as worth it as getting some of these contested cities early, because the whole game is about, like, can you hold on to your weak side? And I've seen a lot of people do what Gray does over here. You get this city first, then the second guy goes and gets this. But I personally like to send my second guy right here and go ahead and snag this or the comm tower, kind of just depending. But maybe this is the actual way to do it. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't studied a whole lot of high-level games on this map, so I don't really know what people do. But Grim is going to go and snag that comm tower. This guy's going to go over here to either back up the comm tower or go over here probably. And then we have a tank. The central tank is absolutely the play. I agree with that. Now the tank can go to either side and reinforce where it's needed. Oh man, my nose I only feel like I have to sneeze whenever I'm recording. Like when I was not recording for such a long time, and then I hit the record button and then suddenly bang, all the mucus just is activated. Alright, so Adder is going to give up a shot on that comm tower infantry right here, but Adder will be able to trade that out with this infantry. So we also see the central tank from Adder. Very, very good. This game hasn't gotten too wacky yet. I mean, that infantry gets obliterated because of that Grim defense. That's not going to work. This infantry can interrupt his own cap to stop the comm tower, but that's not really worth it. Grim already has a comm tower, but as I say that, Grim interrupts. Grim is the only one controlling the comm tower. I think just snagging that city would have been better. Adder getting a comm tower I don't think is that important. I've heard many different theories on how many comm towers Grim likes, but I am of the opinion that comm towers are not as important if Grim is on the field due to that extra attack and lower defense. You're hitting the 20% attack threshold anyway because Grim's got 30%, so you can guarantee two-shot infantry on cities with infantry with that 20% number, right? Because you need 20% attack to guarantee two-shot infantry on cities with 2 infantry, or to hit tanks with 2 tanks. But that 20% defense, the minus 20% defense also means that Adder can do the same thing to Grim, and Adder hits all the thresholds. So comm tower zone is important, but look at this. Adder is going to be the comm tower guy because this infantry just is going to go up here and just swipe this comm tower. It's actually not covered by the tank. This square and this square are not covered by the tank, and this infantry is unfortunately just completely hanging. It is a King David infantry because King David sent his soldier in on the front lines and then had all the other army pull back, and then the soldier was cut down by the Philistines, and then the soldier's wife was free for the taking. And speaking of free for the taking, that soldier almost goes down, survives with 1 HP, and there's a mech to counter the tank. Mechs are pretty solid on the weak side. They go over the mountains, and then you're not like trying to push too hard, so the mech movement really isn't that much of a hindrance. And mechs are good with Adder because you get that movement power, and it makes your mechs so much better. We have a recon from Grim, which will be good against countering the mechs. but I'm not a big recon fan. But I need to get better at using them. Those two infantry get cleared out. Now the recon is going to be positioned very aggressively. And it looks like Grim is already making a lot of progress here on the strong side. Excuse me. Grim is already making a ton of progress. Also gets the interrupt right here. Nicely done by Grim. Nice and safe from the tank. Tank will be able to attack this, but that city's already captured. Bunch more cities go through. Hey, that's a free shot. Nice find over there by Adder. Without movement powers, this mech is not going to get over there. And Tank takes another free shot. Everything else just kind of shuffles around. There's a nice little mech chain going on. And let's see what Grim cooks up here. Gonna capture a city, capturing another city. And the recon is gonna go over here and block this city, get that nice terrain. But also just in case Adder got a side slip, now Adder can't just capture it. We'll bring back the infantry to get healed. And it's just going to play defense on here for right now. Going to snipe that 5 HP infantry trying to heal up. There will be no healing in Grim's presence today. That is absolutely unacceptable. That infantry, however, the ultimate King David infantry, just sits there and takes another tank shot to the face and falls down. I think that infantry, it already was there, right? It was at, yeah. You could just go 1, 2, 3, and then put like a mech right here, and then, or like right here, and then, I don't know. I think Grim's positioning here is a little sketchy. I don't think Grim had to lose that infantry right there. You go 1, 2, 3 back, and then this mech, instead of going here, goes here. Everything is covered. Everything is protected. And the other infantry goes down to 1 HP, and Grim, with the 1 HP infantry survivors right here, as we got a nice little wave of infantry capturing more tanks, more mechs, all coming in. Now we have the artillery. Artilleries are pretty good on this map as they can help with this strong side push, and you just kind of slow push into this area because it's really hard to push into mech chains, which I've seen a ton of mech chains on this map. So artillery also really good mech counters, as the mech has to start its turn in artillery range in order to actually hit the artillery, because mechs only move 2, but artilleries have free range. There's another recon coming out from Grim, and a battlecopter. You gotta get those Grim battlecopters on the field. They are so strong. They, I think they one-shot enemy battlecopters with the comm tower. So, let's see. And a battlecopter, yeah, it's a roll with 1 comm tower. So very, very strong battlecopters. You can counter other battlecopters with Grim battlecopters, and they're amazing. Now Adder's gonna sneak onto this city right here. There's the tank. There's another tank just dancing out of mech range. You can build a tank out of this space and go around, which can help out the mechs tremendously. But we'll see what Grim does here as the battlecopter moves up. Going to take out the infantry on the comm tower, and Recon's going to get a great shot on the mech, knocking down to 1 HP. Another good shot, knocking the mech down to 5 HP. And Grim is making some progress on the strong side over here. But Adder's up 3 cities right now, as Adder's a little faster to some of these like sort of mid-ish cities on the edge of their front lines, if that makes sense. Everything else shuffles around. The mechs are going to take a nice defensive stand in the mountains, but you could be a little more aggressive with the mechs. I mean, you have the battlecopter protecting. This anti-air is not going to get there anytime soon. Side slip almost online as the mechs go in, but all these Grim units actually live. There's a lot of low HP Grim units, and this is looking really good for Grim over here on the strong side. You can use these low HP units as blockers and try to stop Adder from punching into Grim's more valuable units, which is really huge. But there's this artillery tank formation all pushing in on this base area, as day 11 for Grim comes in and takes out the capping infantry there. Recon finishes off the mech, and that 2 HP infantry sacrifices for damage to allow the tank to get the guaranteed 1 shot. Nicely done. However, the tank should have attacked from the comm tower, because with this square, not only is it less defense, but it's within mech range. And then if the tank's on the comm tower, mech could go 1, 2, 3 with side slip and not actually be able to get the tank. So this is unfortunately not positioning from the tank. The tank needed to attack from the comm tower. That's very, very big. That tank is going to be lost. Whereas on that comm tower, even though this tank I don't even know if this tank could attack it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, it could with side slip. Okay, but still, that you got to get that terrain advantage when you can. But Grim did that because Grim wanted to start the comm tower. I don't think that's worth it. I think you're giving up a whole. I don't know. I could be wrong though. I was told that comm towers are worth 2 cities, and Grim with 2 comm towers is gonna be really strong, 50% attack. But I like the thing about like 50% attack is going from like 0 to 10% attack is a big deal, and 10% to 20% attack is a big deal. But 40% to 50% attack, not that big of a deal. Just kind of how like the thresholds work of being able to 2-shot things. But I'm not the expert. Oh, I see. Using these units to block the tank. So Grim could have still done this and put the tank on the comm tower, and then this tank would have been absolutely safe. Well, I don't know, because actually this recon's going to get obliterated by this tank, and this tank will still get out. But a lot of tactics, a lot of units flying across the board. Also, Battlecopter can hit the tank, or hit the recon, I mean. And there's so many things that can happen, but we see a side slip come in. Mac is going to take that shot. Nice damage there, knocking that tank to 4 HP. And Adder is now going to start Grim's comm tower. Got the artillery protecting the cap. Infantry goes in, knocking it down to 3. Doesn't use the side slip. Just okay with that mech shot right there. Oh, there it is. The stealth fighter, as the recon does go down to this tank. But we've got the stealth fighter now. The stealth fighter is a crazy unit. It's only got 60 fuel, and it uses like 5 per day, I think, but it uses 8 when it goes into stealth mode. So it can't be in stealth mode for very long, but when it is, it's a really hard to budge unit, because when a stealth fighter is in stealth mode, it can only be attacked by other stealth fighters and regular fighters. So this stealth fighter could indeed be a problem for Grim. However, the thing about stealth fighters is that, as in standard, which sometimes stealth fighters get banned in fog for this reason, your opponent can see them coming. Grim sees the stealth fighter get built, so Grim can build a regular jet fighter, has enough cash to do it, can combine some units too to get some extra cash if needed, to get that regular fighter and counter it. But this is also a good play from Adder in terms of like you're forcing Grim, who's down 3 cities of income, it's down 3k, to build a fighter to counter the stealth fighter, and Grim's not building land units that Grim wants to build. So the stealth fighter is kind of a forcing build. It's not necessarily a bad play, but it is kind of crazy. That money could have definitely been used elsewhere. But we'll see if it pays off for Adder here, as again, my nose is just going crazy. Alright, let's see what we got going here. Oh man, sorry. It's allergy season. Alright. Whoa. The website being a bit weird for a second, but now we have a shot, and look at this. 2 comm towers for Grim. Knocks this tank down to 2 HP. I was wrong about everything. Get the comm towers. I'm just kind of kidding about that. I mean, with 1 comm tower, I think it'd still be at like 3 HP, so it's not that big of a deal. But this 4 HP tank now can finish it off. But the infantry goes in instead of the 4. I probably would have used the 4 HP, but going to use the mechs to finish off the comm tower infantry and going to attack this infantry, guarding the artillery. Everything else moves back. The tanks move in, and Grim is ready for a counter attack here. Takes out the 5 HP tank. Battlecopter goes in and knocks Adder's Battlecopter to 1 HP. Another Battlecopter goes in to reinforce this area. And the unit shuffle around. Grim is now going to capture this. Adder is up 3 cities, but there's the jet fighter. Has to double base skip for it, but it is on the field, and now the stealth fighter, the stealth fighter counter is there. Going to actually bring this infantry on the base to get healed. Okay, you don't see that a lot. And this 3 HP infantry goes in for an attack, but doesn't quite work. Brings the 4 HP back to get healed, but maybe going for the takeoff on this tank would have been better. But at the same time, it's going to be hard to get this out. And the stealth fighter comes in, one-shots the copter. Now, the stealth fighter, before it goes into stealth, it can be attacked by any sort of anti-air unit. It can be attacked by regular anti-air, missile trucks, air carriers, but when it goes into stealth mode, that's when it has the immunity to those units. It can only be attacked by fighters and other stealth fighters. So you have to use your turn to go into stealth mode. So that is a consideration. But now Adder is going to put full economic pressure on with the Neo tank, the Sphere of Destruction, ready to roll over all Grimm's units over here. And now Grimm can spam artilleries to counter that Neo tank, build a bomber, spam copters, because copters will whittle down Neo tank, especially with Grimm's attack. But both players almost have that supercharge. Adder's been sitting on that movement for a long time. Goes in for some more attacks, knocks Grimm's tank down to 3 HP, and the anti-air finishes it off. But now it's back to Grimm's. The super is online. Will we see a power activated? This tank comes in, finishes off the 8 HP tank. Gonna start a cap right here. Copter's gonna go in, finish off another 8 HP tank. And this copter boldly flying into Adder's backline, popping an infantry. The jet fighter moves over here. Could be dangerous. You don't want that thing getting hit by an anti-air. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it could be. It's within Sidewinder range. That fighter's within Sidewinder range. This could be bad. Grimm is going to shuffle down just to try to protect the comm tower here. But Grimm's got to get some income down. 4 cities right now. And just actually retreats over here on the strong side. But there it is. Adder activates the Sidewinder and now tries to trap the copter in. The big wall of infantry prevents the copter from escaping. The anti-air moves. Oh, wow. Nicely done by Adder. Now the copter, I guess it can go like towards the river and be safe from the anti-air. But nicely done by Adder. Oh, now the Neo tank goes in. And wow, 4 damage on the battlecopter. That's insane. And this is nicely done by Adder. We have a nice little trap on the battlecopter. That battlecopter was way too aggressive. This infantry boldly goes in and deals a lot of damage to that mech. Gonna start a capture right here. Anti-air takes out the copter. Not gonna go for that jet fighter. I don't know if Adder could have got the clear on the tank or the infantry that was required to actually get to the jet fighter. But I was just looking at the range. You can also use the hotkeys plugin to see the range if you weren't blocking. So if you have the hotkeys plugin, you see these and you hit the hotkey for show movement ranges, and you have the option for like show where it could go without blocks. You can see these purple tiles, and that's where it would go if your opponent's units weren't blocking. So you can always see like the maximum range of things and be able to see like, you know, where you could go if stuff gets cleared. So a nice little thing, just a nice little tool to help your advanced wars skills here. As we're going in for the interrupt here, Grimm is still sitting on that super. I'm going to take out the infantry right there and just gonna let that city go through, building the great wall of mechs to fight over it later. But Adder up 3 cities right now and looking to make it even more. The jet fighter protected by some tanks as the stealth fighter went into stealth mode, and Grimm has to reveal it by putting a unit next to it. But you can see where it goes into stealth mode, so Grimm knows that the stealth fighter is right here, but it won't be able to see it after that. The anti-air goes after the trapped copter right here, and the copter could at least take out infantry, but look at this. The APC refueling the stealth fighter back up to 60 fuel, because not only do APCs transport infantry, they also refuel units and resupply ammo, so they are the best friends of the stealth fighter. Now, Grimm cannot see the stealth fighter, but if Grimm has more than 2 brain cells, unlike me, then Grimm knows that there's a stealth fighter next to that APC getting refueled. So, you know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out where that stealth fighter is, but at the same time, it's still pretty hard. You still gotta, you know, like pay attention. You can use the little movement thing to figure out the movement, but which I think is super cool, and that actually helps my positioning so much. Little movement thing with the hotkeys plugin, and then also with the hotkeys plugin, you can like assign like every action in the game to a key, and you can play the game on your keyboard without a mouse. Which is faster if you're good at it, but I am not good at it, so I just use the mouse like a plebeian. Grimm is gonna shuffle a bunch of units around and just gonna build up. And this is unfortunately not the right kind of macro strategy for Grimm versus Adder. this position is really, really good for Adder, because this is how Adder counters Grim. Adder builds up a massive, force of units, pops side slip, like skirts out of Grim's range, pops side slip, and then just mows down Grim's front lines before Grim can retaliate. And then it doesn't matter that Grim has increased attack because Adder's destroyed everything. And the more the more time this game stalls out and lets Adder build up units, the better it is for Adder. But also, Adder's got a 4K income lead, even though this city might get flipped. So it's looking really good for Adder, as this is the exact strategy Adder wants against Grim. Grim needs to keep brawling, even if you're taking some losing trades. As long as you can stop Adder from making progress or building up army, then that could be really good. The Neo tank moves in, as well as going for a comm tower cap. Adder is no longer content to wait around, going to get one of those comm towers back, gonna resupply the stealth fighter and retreat it over here to the left. So Grim has no idea where that is, but Grim doesn't care. Here's the Haymaker, now 80% attack, but that becomes 110% attack. 80, 90, 100, and then 110 for popping the power, and that infantry stood no chance, gets one shot. This mech survives with 2 HP, but that's not a problem for that infantry right there. This mech also survives with 2 HP, but it's really weak, and now the tank goes in, clears out the artillery, going in on the Neo tank, and it chips it down with that Haymaker damage, gets it down to 3 HP. So that's actually a good value trade for Grim, but not really good on unit count. So kind of trade-offs. Recon is going to hit the infantry, and everything else is going to move up. And speaking of moving, the freaking nose is such a problem. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Goes in and clears out. Grim is protecting the comm towers with his life. Bang! Artillery gone. Everything else shuffles forward. Grim has flipped a city. Now only down 2k income. Neo tank reinforcing some of the front lines. And now Grim is getting in on the stealth fighter party. And Grim has built their own stealth fighter. Not only does it present the same issues as I said before, but the stealth fighter can also counter Adder's stealth fighter. And we are seeing every unit here as the tank goes down to the Neo tank. Infantry gets hit. The artillery hits that tank, but thanks to the terrain and Grim's defense penalty isn't as bad because he popped a super. That tank survives with 5 HP. Going to take a couple shots in, clears out the tank, gonna hit some infantry, clears it out, allowing that mech to get hit, but it survives with 1 HP. The APC moves up, supplies the Neo, so gonna get healed on the city, and a rocket truck comes in from Adder. The artillery just are not cutting it, and now the rocket truck is required. It's like an artillery with way more range and way more attack power, but way less mobility and way less defense. So trade-offs, but rockets are pretty strong on this map with a ton of mountains. The stealth fighter and copter move over here, ready to defend the weak side. The infantry is going to snipe a mech. There will be no hiding, no healing in Grim's presence right here, as another Sidewinder has now been activated. Or, I mean, not activated, but able to be activated. Taking out infantry, hitting the tank down to 4 HP, and the 7 HP finishes the job. The other infantries all move up. The Neo tank moves up as well. I think the Neo tank could have gone here, maybe. Yeah, Neo tank could have gone here and taken that out. It's safe from the artillery, it's safe from the rocket, safe from this Neo tank. Maybe he's just worried about the stealth fighter. But Neo tank had a free shot right there. Maybe that's a misclick. The stealth fighter hides in the mountains. Just like Amelia Earhart flies over the mountains and disappears. Going to build a nice little wall of infantry. These tanks just go back here. This doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't know what these tanks are doing. And Grim might be really afraid of the stealth fighter. The tanks could have shifted over here, and if the Neo tank comes in, you have the stealth fighter. I don't know how much stealth fighters do to Neo tanks, actually. Let's see. Stealth fighter to Neo tank on a plains. Okay, with Grim, with 2 comm towers, they do a lot. I think the tanks could have been over here. You can put them over here, and then if the Neo tanks get a little feisty, well then boom, stealth fighter. and that'll be really good for Grim. But I think this is being a little passive, but not being passive anymore. There's a big rocket truck coming in, ready to defend this area. Going to take some shots at infantry. There's the stealth fighter. Pops infantry, another APC to refuel the stealth fighter. Neo tank takes another infantry, and these infantry all getting picked off. There's not a lot of vehicles from Grim over here. They all retreated, and now Adder is going to take back the weak side, going to grab some cities, going to pick off that 4 HP tank. And these units have to just shift back. Grim has too much firepower over here. Back to Grim. Grim is going to defend the city. Bang, takes out the infantry. Stealth fighter moves up. No jet fighter from Adder. So the only thing that can counter this stealth fighter is this stealth fighter. The rocket is going to move over here and cover the comm tower. All right, fair enough. Grim is locking down the comm tower, not letting Adder get that bonus. Everything else just going to shuffle around, though, and this is just what Adder likes to see. But now, Grim is the one up a city, as Grim's got all the flips. So, Grim, this is not as bad for Grim as it was a couple turns ago, as Grim's got the city lead. However, Adder's got a ton of vehicles down here on the weak side, and Grim has, like, none. But it is Grim's strong side, so Grim can build vehicles there quickly. But these weakened infantry all will get picked off by Adder, and the unit count is going to be a big deal. The side slip comes in, using the extra movement to reinforce the front lines a little bit quicker. And now the tanks come in, hitting some more infantry, and the Neo tank takes out a recon. Copter even gets feisty, and all Grim's infantry have disappeared over here. But Azur's going to regroup over here. This is the craziest game. Like, both players are pushing their weak side. This is insane. This tank's going to take a shot, and Knuckle Duster almost online. Everything else just going to shuffle forward. Fighter's going to go over here. It needs some fuel, but luckily Grim's got an APC there ready to refuel it, and it is ready to counter that Stealth Fighter. Also, Stealth Fighter protects the fighter from the Stealth Fighter first strikes. And Grim is just going to shuffle around on the weak side. Going to build a Neo tank. Going to build an anti-air and an infantry. Alright. Now we're tied on income. Grim's got the comm tower lead. Adder up slightly in unit value at the start of his turn, so Adder's doing great on that front. Anti-air is going to get a shot. Going to start this city as well. Going to take a shot. That's within Neo tank range, but now the Copter is going to take a shot, but the Neo tank can still go here, hit this, but then this Neo tank covers. What kind of attacks will we see? Almost fighting in a base range here. Or actually, not almost. Actually fighting in a base range. Neo tank comes in. Clang. Tank goes down. Another Neo tank ready to reinforce in case this Neo tank gets any funny ideas. Anti-air moves up. The fighter retreat. Okay, I get a free shot on the Copter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, with power, the anti-air covers the Copter. If I was saying the fighter could go here instead of the infantry, take out that Copter. But the fighter does not want to take a hit from the anti-air, so it retreats. Gonna put the stealth next to the APC to get refueled, and going to just shuffle more units around. Every day I'm shuffling. Not gonna start the city, putting tanks, and now Adder's gonna start the push on the strong side. The infantry start to cap, backed up by the rocket and the artillery. The Neo tank and the other two artillery make up the back line here. The APC as well. Little extra blocking there as Copters go in on these tanks, and the anti-air is going to cover the Copters, and Grim does not have any anti-air in the area or more fighters or anything like that. Got the stealth fighter though. But now Adder's going to start this comm tower, but Grim's got a power coming in, and there's a lot of action that could happen, and one-shots a tank with the stealth fighter, allowing the jet fighter to come in and one-shot the Copter. This Neo tank comes in, one-shots at infantry. Everything's a one-shot. Everything moves up, and there's the Knuckle Duster. Let's see some carnage. Anti-air goes down. Comm tower infantry interrupted down to 3 HP. This infantry even doing 3 damage to the artillery. Now it comes in. Grim with 2 comm towers is a beast. But not enough to counter these 2 Copters right here. But everything else moves up, and we'll see if Adder's counterattack can be really strong as we see another rocket truck from Grim. And Grim retreats, just playing defense on the HQ now. But now Adder's about to have a huge income lead. City goes. Adder's up 4 cities now, 6 cities, 29 to 23. This infantry ready to capture the comm tower as well. And everything else just shuffles around. But now over here, will we see carnage? It looks like everything's retreating, refueling the stealth fighter. Copters shift over to the strong side to help out with the rockets. The missiles! He's built up missiles! This is crazy! With 5 range, the missiles is really strong, nestling behind the mountains, and the ability to one-shot every air unit that's not a stealth fighter in stealth mode. But the missiles are really slow, really weak, and cumbersome. Will this missiles pay off? We will see. We will see. There's only one way to find out. It's a jet fighter as well. In case the missiles can't get the job done, then the fighter will clean up the mess. Grim now goes in, takes out the infantry, takes out another infantry, and the jet fighter is able to spot the stealth fighter and take it out completely. But the missiles is right there. It's within the minimum range. The missiles can't even attack the jet fighter. This jet fighter can though. That stealth fighter attacks the copter right there. This infantry deals 3 damage to the rocket. This copter even attacks this tank attacks the copter. This tank attacks the copter, taking bad engagements to get charged. Now there's a knuckle duster coming in, and we're about to see some serious carnage. Knocks a Neo tank down to 3 HP, and the regular tank finishes it off. Gonna start a cap. Another Neo tank moves up, and this is some really exciting action here as the units are flying off the board left and right. The missiles can't even shoot this stealth fighter because it's still in stealth mode. Grim is going to shift on over here. Rocket protects the comm tower. This rocket protects these properties right here. But could be dangerous. There's an anti-air and a copter ready to counter these copters. Oh, excuse me. Holy. Alright. Sorry, I gotta take some Mucinex. Alright. The Adder boldly walks onto this comm tower. It's covered by the rocket. But Adder can also push in here with super and overwhelm the rockets. The anti-air hits that fighter down to 3 HP, allowing this fighter to finish the job. The Neo tank gets chipped down by the artillery. This tank goes in for an attack. The missiles retreats, ready to attack some more air units. But the only air unit there is the stealth fighter. So those missiles is just sad and it has no targets. Tank goes down. Copter comes in, gonna hit an infantry and allow this Neo tank to get the KO on the tank. Now the mech's getting the cap. Also, this cap getting started. It's not covered by a rocket. The infantry goes down. And going to just move the rocket over here to get healed. Also covering this square, but that's not gonna be a big problem. And there it is. The bomber coming in now. These Neo tanks have no chance against that bomber. The stealth fighter can do a ton of damage to it, but right now it's blocked off by Adder's units. Let's see what Grim can do. Gonna take out that Weasel capping infantry there with the rocket. Now Grim's gonna push over here on the strong side, and we're seeing a mega push right here, but Adder could be getting close to capture limit here. All these caps are going through. Takes out the APC, but now that Neo tank's in bomber and artillery range, this could be really nasty. The other Neo tanks move up. Anti-air comes in, covering the Neo tank now. Safe from the bomber. The stealth fighter moves away from this jet fighter. Got to make sure it's protected, or at least it can't get revealed. The copter could reveal it with a side slip, and then have the regular fighter take it out. We'll see what happens. Bomber comes in. Clang. That infantry is no more. Gonna start that comm tower again. Second time's the charm. The artillery hits that Neo tank down to 3 HP. And another moment right there. The mega tank comes in. You know what counters Neo tank spam? Mega tanks. Grim Neo tanks. Oh, with 2 comm towers, how much do they do to mega tanks? They only do a max of 43% to mega tanks on a city, on a plains. They can 2-shot a mega tank. So Adder does have to be careful. This mega tank might have been a bit of an overbuy, but if it's on good terrain, it'll be really hard for Grim to actually punch through it. It's the strongest defensive unit in the game in terms of like pure defense. I'm going to get some shots here, and now is hardcore pushing on Grim's base. You got these 3 artillery all pointed at the base and the rockets as well, and we will see and the Neo tanks moving as well. Gonna take a shot there because why not? Anti-air's out of range, and the fighter actually goes over here. Maybe thinks the stealth fighter's over
Set
here,
the
or maybe
wrong
wants
card.
to counter the copter. But that stealth fighter's actually over here. Adder just had no idea it was over here. Could reveal it with the copter, like I said earlier, but Adder would have to know it's here, and Adder doesn't. You can't just like charge in with the copter willy-nilly, right? So not a bad play. And the rocket attacks this rocket, taking it out in one shot. Artillery goes down. Grim is now going to start these cities, but Grim's got to do something. Adder is up 8 cities, only needs 6 to hit the capture limit. Rocket takes out another artillery anti-air base locks, but does take out the copter. And this copter doing 3 damage to artillery, and the mech takes down an infantry, and more infantry from Adder go down. They're all falling left and right, but this formation looks very fragile. The Neo tanks can probably break through. The stealth fighter goes in and deals nothing to the mega tank. It deals nothing to the mega tank. I think this is a bad move. I think you got to keep that stealth fighter hidden. Yeah, there's no regular jet fighter, but that's not really worth it. Could have hit shot the mech maybe? I don't know. Deals absolutely nothing to that mega tank though. Deals 1 damage to it. Even with Grim at 2 comm towers. The missiles has gone down! No, the missiles! And the mech goes down. The Neo tank goes in trying to block the mega tank in. And everything else moves up. And day 25 for Adder. Now let's see what Adder's gonna cook up here. Got that Sidewinder, all charged and everything. Grabs that comm tower. So Adder finally gets the comm tower after all this time. And Terra take out a copter as well. And the artillery is actually gonna hit a mech instead of the rocket. Okay, so maybe Adder's like gonna probably use the Neo tanks to take out the rockets. But there's the Sidewinder. This is gonna hurt. There goes the rocket. Bang. There goes the rocket. Bang. And there goes the anti-air. And clears the base, but not able to... not able to occupy it with anything. Oh, just kidding. Actually, that infantry did have the movement to occupy it. With the extra +2 movement, I can't count to 5. And now starts the base capping. Grim is in some trouble. Also starting these 2 caps right from under Grim's nose right here. In Grim's territory. And the fighter also has an airport lock. And Grim is in some real big trouble now. Grim was doing great over here, but now it all comes down to basically an HQ rush. If Grim can get the HQ, got the APC to facilitate infantry getting up there, and got some blockers, but if this HQ rush doesn't happen, then it is over. The anti-air gets picked off by the bomber. Stealth fighter will be able to probably trade that out though, or at least do a lot of damage to the bomber. But there's another stealth fighter coming out from Adder, and Grim is in some trouble. Has to basically make a play for that HQ. This APC go up to here, put an infantry within range of the HQ, and that's what this infantry is going to do actually, but I believe this to be a bit of an inaccuracy. Could have brought the APC over here, dropped the 10 HP infantry off to capture HQ instead of the 9. It would have been a little bit quicker. The APC is just going to sit there though. Okay, stealth fighter one-shots the bomber, nicely done. Gonna protect the stealth fighter with some tanks. And the APC, yeah, just imagine if this was if this 9 HP infantry wasn't here, and the 10 HP infantry could be here, ready to capture the HQ. Will this prove fatal for Grim, or will Grim get that HQ off regardless? We'll see. Grim is going to try and weaken some of these units down, stalling out this attack as long as possible, but there is no coming back from this. Just going to have to go Scorched Earth, target fire the infantry, so Adder can't capture anything. 2 more properties go, and now Adder's at 32 properties to Grim's 20, up majorly in income. The issue though is the HQ, with the unit value, Adder's still slightly ahead, so not too bad for Grim, but gonna threaten the airport, gonna threaten these cities as well, and it could be capture limit as well. 4 cities to go for capture limit, and this tank stealth fighter is going to get some shots. A mega tank comes in, 1 shot to tank, another stealth fighter comes in from Adder, This is absolutely crazy. Gonna start the HQ with the 9 HP infantry. And let's see if Grim could. So imagine this infantry was here starting the HQ. Could Grim pull off and get the block for it? Well, I don't know. I think these stealth fighters just do too much damage. Regular tanks get one shot on shoals, and it's a roll on plains. And it's a roll on forest if it's a 9. The full HP tank will be safe on a forest and on a silo, but then the mega tank comes in. The mega tank has 1 ammo left, and there's no APC to resupply. So what Grim could do, actually, is sacrifice the 9 HP tank into the mega tank to, in order to drain the mega tank out of ammo. And then Grim might be able to protect the HQ from the stealth fighters. I kind of wanted to go in the move planer and kind of see. Just imagine this is a 10 HP infantry. I think this HQ cap would be really, really hard to stop. There's got to be a way, right? There's got to be a way. You sacrifice this 9 to take that mega tank out of ammo. Can those? How much damage do those stealth fighters do to Neo tanks? 5. Oh, too much. Okay. Side slip could be coming in too. That's a possibility. Need a side slip in order to hit that. That's close. I don't know, but we'll see what Grim can do with this right now. Going to take out the anti-air, or not take it out, but leave it to 1 HP. Gonna hit the artillery. That infantry will take it out. Gonna tap another artillery. Gonna hit the mech for some reason, or hit with the mech hit on the Neo tank for some reason. Gonna continue the cap. Start the cap. Sorry, my brain is just not working today. But because this game's breaking it, that's for sure. And Grim activates the power. Was that a roll? Let's see if this was a roll. Grim stealth fighter with power. It was a roll. Doesn't get it, and the stealth fighter lives with 1 HP. The APC and infantry are going to do some low blocking action, as well as the Neo tank.
Right, granite costs too much.
If this was at 10 HP, I think this goes through. I don't think there's any way to bust through this. But you have to sacrifice the 9 to waste the mega tank's ammo. You have to do it. There is no way. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's gotta be a way, but I think you have to make that mega tank waste this last shot of the mega cannon. I don't think you can just push into this like this. I think you have to sacrifice a tank in order. Wait, what else could have hit that ant? Let's wait till the end of this turn and then we'll go back and look. Everything else just moves up. Nothing exciting. All right. The anti-air couldn't hit. I think you can sacrifice the 9 HP tank into the mega tank, make it waste ammo. Stealth fighter hits this stealth fighter down to 1 HP. Everything else blocks. I think that HQ cap will be unstoppable, but it's not at 10 HP. And the mega tank still has ammo. And Adder is going to make Grim pay. The Neo tank gets down in 1 shot. All these infantry on the right side are about to disappear. And Adder is up 10 cities. Could be putting on HQ threat pretty soon. It's going to take a while for infantry to get there. Moving powers, though. Going to start another city. There's the Sidewinder. Going to start the airport. Going to start more cities. 4 cities now. About to go through. Adder so close to capture limit. But now has to worry about the HQ. Going to attack some infantry. This stealth fighter went down. It's just glitched. And allowing this stealth fighter to come in and hit the infantry, takes it out, and this game is over. Antair's gonna take a shot, gonna start a cap, gonna shoot the stealth fighter down to 1 HP, but that is not going to be enough. And Grim resigns, and that game was crazy. My brain was broken by the end of it. When we look at the stats, we got 54 kills and 54 deaths for Grim. Even the scoreboard's messed up. This game is crazy. So many units on the field. I think every single ground unit got built by at least one of the 2 players. I can't think of a unit that didn't get built, but if you think of one, feel free to comment, and I could be being a little silly. No, One unit didn't get built. Don't show this to semi-original guy. Medium tanks did not get built. The semi-original guy is seething right now. That's wild. This game was absolutely crazy. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you in the Advanced Wars by Web Team Tournament, and I'll see you in the next video.
I guess it just has to be random instead, eh? And then I risk the chance I don't have a draw one off of Ultimate Slayer. Sure, I'll go for Chorozo because they're cute. I don't want to play hand traps, I want to play just board breakers. I think that's like a really cool way to play. Because board breakers are kind of only really viable in Genesis. I had 9 board breakers on my main deck. I only have 5 here. That doesn't sit very well with me. I don't know about Sri Aratron. Cause like, what are we doing? What are we doing turn 0? Our best target would be like full, or sometimes a turn 0 Bethor might be fine, but yeah, I don't know. At the very least, with Droll and Lock being a little less prevalent alongside Dimension Shifter, even with all the points, this is still a very good deck for the most part. Especially if we get to go first. Every deck's always better going first.
What is the fastest way to win a game of Yu-Gi-Oh? Since the game's inception, Yu-Gi-Oh
Damn
has
it.
had several different win
Nice hand
conditions,
though, but
from reducing your opponent's life points from 8,000 to 0 through battle, to specific cards that allow you to win the duel by fulfilling certain conditions, or one of the most infamous ways, the first turn kill, or FDK.
let's go, rocks. No, this hand is so much worse. At least no Axe Blossom.
An FDK by definition is a strategy that allows one player to win on their very first turn of the game without allowing the opponent to have a chance to have a turn at all. Since the game's inception over 25 years ago, FDKs have existed in many different forms, but when boiled down, there are usually 3 popular methods to achieve an FDK. The first and most popular one being Exodia. The game plan is simple, to assemble all 5 pieces of Exodia on the first turn by either 2 methods usually. The first, to draw into the pieces of Exodia. This was usually accomplished historically by adding a bunch of consistency spell cards like Allure of Darkness, Trade-In, Toon Table of Contents, and monster cards like Royal Magic Library, so that you could filter out your deck to see your pieces of Exodia. Despite being gimmicky and seeing extremely fringe play, at the time of recording this video, ironically, it's actually one of the strongest and most degenerate strategies in Yu-Gi-Oh's Genesis format. A quote-unquote watered down and less powerful version of the game, where decks are essentially built on point systems rather than the traditional Forbidden and Limited list, with access to modern draw cards like Radiant Typhoon Vision, Sky Striker Mobilize Engage, and powerful level 8 packages like the Dark Lord cards and Sky Striker Ace Hamp to discard and banish off cards like Trade-In and Allure of Darkness. It's unironically been as real of a strategy at the time of recording this video than ever before. It can also play cards like Upstart Goblin, Into the Void, and even Pot of Greed. Fun fact, I recently attended YCS Sydney 2026, where Konami hosted its Genesis YCS event, It had 32 players and 9 out of 32 of them were playing Exodia FTK. It was easily the most miserable watching experience I think I've ever had. Seeing Exodia mirrors literally saying good luck, have fun, rolling dice, and then instantly scooping was nothing short of sad and hilarious, and I was frankly impressed that Konami somehow managed to find a way to make a format more degenerate than Advanced constructed, a format known by audiences around the world for having very few checks for player interactability.
Okay, and then show hands, GG, close one. No, it was not. You know, that was a great match. That was a great match, yo.
The second way to get all 5 pieces of Exodia, however, in one turn was usually through means of a specific repeatable combo. The most infamous example of this being just a few years ago at YCS Indianapolis, where Yu-Gi-Oh! Veteran Jeff Leonard won on the live stream feature match versus Justin Singh with his unique strategy exploiting powerful monsters like Izol, Two Tails of the Nobleman, Selene, Queen of the Master Magicians, and Blue Dragon Summoner. The game plan was simple: to search Blue Dragon Summoner, and to search the head of Exodia of Time Star Magician, and to exploit its soft once per turn ability of being able to search a normal spellcaster monster after being sent to the graveyard by continuously summoning it back with powerful cards like Cross Sheep and Selene, searching all 5 pieces of Exodia. But aside from drawing into all 5 pieces of Exodia, or individually adding each one from deck to hand by a specific combo, FTKs can also be achieved by affecting your opponent's hand and deck. Introducing the Deck Out FTK. This is a strategy where you essentially win the game on the first turn when your opponent has no cards to draw off the top of their deck. Often considered to be one of the least viable ways to do an FTK, these strategies often involve giving your opponent resources. It has seen fringe success.
I'm kind of regretting not going for Bathor now.
These FTKs are usually accomplished by exploiting cards like Cyberjaw and Morphing Jaw alongside spell cards like Book of Taiyu, so that you can continuously flip up your jaws, forcing your opponent to draw. The second way of achieving a deck out FTK, instead of making your opponent draw cards, is by forcing them to mill cards from their deck to the graveyard through cards like Soul Absorbing Bone.
When we bone, she absorbing my tower. No.
It's a zombie monster that has the effect where every time you summon a zombie monster, your opponent sends the top 2 cards of their deck to the graveyard. This is usually done by building your entire deck with zombie monsters in mind and summoning as many of them as possible. Of all of the FTK strategies, however, Deck Out has often been considered the worst out of all of them, as it gives your opponent resources in the process, allowing them to possibly gain access to cards like hand traps to stop your
Okay, watch, I'm gonna draw into it.
What has historically been by far the most consistent, competitively viable, and popular strategy to achieve an FTK has been by burn.
Slash draw. Discard 1 card, send the top card of your deck to the graveyard equal to the number of cards controlled, then draw 1 card and show it if there was a slash draw and send it back!
Burn FTKs have come in all different shapes, all different sizes. Some of Yu-Gi-Oh's most competitively viable FTKs have been from Burn FTKs. Slash Draw FTK has come in many different shapes and sizes, although it was most famously used in its Danger variant. Slash Draw has the effect where you can discard 1 card from your hand, send cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard equal to the number of cards your opponent controls. And if you draw into another Slash Draw, destroy the field and your opponent takes 2,000 damage for each card destroyed. To be able to accomplish the FTK going first, you would resolve cards like Grinder Golem to give your opponent a card to control to proceed to then draw throughout your entire deck using the Danger Monsters, Allure of Darkness, Beginning of the End, and your 3 copies of Saryuja's Skuldred, and then place your Slash Draws to the bottom of the deck. With cards like Soul Charge to be able to have enough cards on the field to destroy, you would resolve your final draw card to then get into Slash Draw, where you would then burn your opponent for upwards of 8,000 damage. Slash Draw FTK would then go to top many events in 2018, with it then promptly being hit on the ban list, with Slash Draw going to 1, and Saryuja's Skuldred eventually going to 1 copy as well. But there have been several other FTKs in Yu-Gi-Oh's history. There's been the Bish Balkan FTKs, the Magical Scientist FTKs, there's been the Cyberstein FTKs, there's been Red Eyes Flame Metal, Galen Duo FTK, and so many more. Recently, YCS Sydney 2026 just wrapped up, and as many of people know by now, I decided to queue Pure Yummy, a strategy which many players, including myself, wrote off and thought it was competitively unviable to go the distance to actually win the event. My testing partners and I put hundreds of hours of research, playtesting, theory crafting for this event, and wanted to find a strategy that gave us the best possible odds to win the tournament. We didn't like how Radiant Typhoon couldn't play that many hand traps or non-engine, and had to instead rely on trying to break the board the opponent made, which was especially an issue if the opponent played a strong combo deck like Crystron K9, and resolved a game-ending floodgate like Spell Canceller. Although the deck is very strong, I've always tended to stay away from heavy engine decks as I prefer to have more agency to draw into more interactable hand traps to completely stop my opponent when I'm forced to go second. We also thought that while Dracotel Branded was extremely strong, we found that the mirror matches were abysmal and that there wasn't a very clear way to win going second in the mirrors. Therefore, we wanted to see if Yummy still had a chance to win after the ban list. Upon trying many different versions of the Yummy deck, we realized one thing for certain, and it was that we desperately wanted to main deck Retaliating Sea for the event, a powerful hand trap which gave us the best chance of winning versus Dracotel going first or second, which was our hardest matchup. We noticed that the other Yummy variants couldn't comfortably play this pesky bug and cleanly play under their own Retaliating Sea, without having to do suboptimal plays that would honestly lose to even a single non-engine the Dracotel player had. But did you know that just 5 minutes before the YCS, we were actually going to queue a completely different deck list to the one that I made top 16 with? Because what took most of our time playtesting and theory crafting for this YCS was not what we ended up submitting. It was actually something a lot more sinister, something more diabolical, something which was only able to be done after hundreds of hours in the lab, unethically experimenting on desert animals. An FTK. This is Yummy FTK. After my testing partners, Peter, Levi, and I decided to queue Pure Yummy for the YCS, we wanted to address one of the deck's biggest weaknesses, board breakers. Yummy as a strategy has always traditionally been known to heavily struggle against powerful board breaker spell cards like Raigeki, Dark Hole, Dark Will and No More, Forbidden Droplet, and after the release of Burst Protocol,
I mean, they only
Forbidden
have
Crown.
one thing they
All
can
of these
set.
cards are catastrophic
Not
to the Yummy
worth.
deck, as the
Not
way
worth
the deck
putting in any
wields
back row
interactions
hate.
versus the opponent is by reacting to their card effects and tagging out your way synchro monsters. Yummy Snatchy, which was recently hit on the Forbidden Unlimited list, was a key choke point, as it was what allowed you to synchro summon on your opponent's turn. To mitigate board breaker decks like
The side deck's so
Luminite,
much more
which has
versatile
access
for
to
Mega
powerful
List though.
board
I don't know
breakers
if I
and
want to
Heavy Poly,
continue
or
playing with
earlier versions of
killer
Radiant
tunes.
Typhoon, which in the meta were having
Oh my
success
god,
on
don't
online
make me
tournaments
go
playing Super
fucking
Poly,
fake first
Forbidden
again.
Crown, Droplet in the main deck. We decided to play Ancient Fairy Dragon and Secret Village of the Spellcasters in our side deck. And in fact,
Good.
Peter actually won a regional the month before the YCS with this very strategy. The idea was very
I'll
simple.
say this is
Decide in
a
Secret Village of the
killer
Spellcasters
hand.
as well as Ancient Fairy Dragon and turbo them out, and using TG Hyper Librarian as our spellcaster to insulate us from powerful board breakers. After seeing tons of online tournament data that Radiant Typhoon was going to come into the format, we thought that this strategy was perfectly adaptable and we could copy and paste our game plan for the Radiant matchup. That wasn't until the Radiant players started to play Lava Golem and Winged Dragon of Our Sphere Mode, two out cards like Liger Dancer, which also just so happened to catch us in the crossfire because they could just get rid of our spellcaster, Hyper Librarian, which completely destroyed us. If we got hit with Lava Golem or Sphere Mode, it would be catastrophic because we wouldn't even be able to use our set Surprise to recover. Just when we thought we had no other way to recover and to beat Radiant Typhoon and the powerful board breakers they had, Peter one day suggested in our group chat, what if we just FDK them? So, we put on our lab coats, went into the trenches of YouTube and Bilibili, Chinese YouTube, and started doing our research. We changed the group chat photo to the card Brain Research Lab, as we thought it was fitting given the labbing we were going to do for the
I
next couple of
completely
weeks.
forgot about Notre
Little
Plura
did we know that
existing
in that
again.
moment, we would actually end up playing that very card in our deck list. Days went past until the group chat pinged and Peter said, "Have you seen the Brain Research Lab FTK?" And so we checked it out. It was beautiful. The FTK goes as follows. You use Yummy Lollipo to special summon back a negated Snatchy from your graveyard under the EMZ, summon Cupid Pitch and use its effect in the graveyard to search for a monster with 6
Now I can't fucking Herald.
in this case Speed Burst Dragon.
Well,
a
I
monster
can,
which has
but-
the effect to special summon itself from the hand after being inflicted with effect damage to then inflict the same
Only
effect
to make
damage
sure
to
I
your
can still
opponent.
play.
And use Ancient Fairy Dragon to destroy your Yummy minion, gaining 1,000 life points, and place Brain Research Lab from your deck to the field. Then by using Reprodocus, change the type of Yummy Snatchy into a Psychic monster. You then use Snatchy's quick effect and attempt to Synchro Summon by paying 100 life points 8 times, but because it's negated, nothing happens. And as it's a Psychic monster, Brain Research Lab triggers to place a counter on itself, when a Psychic monster you control would pay life points to activate an effect instead. After repeating this 8 times to get 8 counters on your Brain Research Lab, you then use the third effect of Yummy Surprise to bounce your Brain Research Lab, immediately taking 8,000 points of damage. But as you've gained 1,000, you'll be on 1,000 life points. Speed Burst Dragon then triggers to then burn your opponent for 8,000 damage, and there you have it, a real FTK. That sounded like a lot, but there was just one little caveat. The combo lines in all these replays completely sucked. See, what I didn't mention in any of these replays that we saw is that in every single one of them, the FTKs were 2-card combos. You had to draw any other way to special summon a level 1 monster as well as a Yummy card. Now, whilst that may not sound that bad in theory, for this to be a competitively viable strategy, and for us to actually queue this at the biggest tournament of the year, we didn't want to have to play all of these bricks and bad cards in our decks if it meant that we had to rely on consistency issues. So, our job for the next few weeks before the YCS was to see if there was a way for one Yummy card to equal FTK, to essentially optimize and find the cleanest possible line to accomplish the FTK, where if we normal summoned one Cupsy Wupsy, the game ended immediately. Days went by, with no sleep, hours and hours of testing, looking at Dueling Book Solo mode, scouring across the entire Yu-Gi-Oh card pool, looking at every single level 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Synchro monster in the game, every rank 2, rank 3, 4, 5, 6 XYZ in the game, every link 2 in the game. We tried everything. We even revisited old lines. We tried new things. And that was until we made a breakthrough. It was Sunday night after locals. The Brain Research Lab team had assembled. Peter, Levi, and I had all come to my house. Peter, looking at the board, trying to solve the puzzle, Levi on his laptop, looking at all the cards in the game, and me digging through my old bulk, trying to find the most obscure cards. It was truly like running our own research lab. And that was when it hit us. We realized that we were able to pull off the FTK using an obscure card called World Weight Carrot Champion. Here's what we had so far. We resolve our early Yummy plays and summon Goyo Defender. We summon more Goyo Defenders, and then make Lollipo Way to reborn the Snatchy under the extra monster zone as well as any other Yummy monster. We make Melier of the Trees and dump World Weight Carrot Champion from our deck and use its effect to summon itself by sending Melier of the Trees to the graveyard, and then proceed to make an Ancient Fairy Dragon, activating Brain Research Lab and resolving the FTK. We did it. It was a massive achievement. After looking at every single card in the game for hours, we found a line where we were able to make one Yummy monster equal the FTK. But even this had significant problems. See, one of the things that we were also trying to optimize was how many spots the FTK took up in our extra deck and our side deck. We were already playing cards like Gravity Controller and Goyo Defender, cards that are necessary for the FTK as it just worked with our strategy. So that wasn't a problem. But then we also needed to find a way to add Cupid Pitch, Ancient Fairy Dragon, Reprodocus, Speed Burst Dragon, and Brain Research Lab. And now after this, we had to also add this stupid carrot and melee of the trees into our side deck. More and more of our side deck just started to become random extra deck utility. The bottom part of our side deck started to look like a Lithium 2300 video when he's showing you all the possible tech cards you can play at the bottom of the deck profiles.
Yo, what's up, guys?
We knew that this was not going to work. In any Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, in a best 2 out of 3, you were playing more games post-side with your side deck, and you only have 15 cards to work with. These 15 cards can literally make or break your tournament run. So we wanted to find a way if we could slim down the extra deck and FTK package in our side deck to make it work. We spent days, countless sleepless nights. It came to the point where every time I closed my eyes, all I could see was Lollipo Way, 2 Yummy Monsters, and 2 Goyo Defenders. We weren't even starting the combos from the beginning at this point. We would just throw everything in the graveyard and just get to the point that we were stuck at. It was like trying to decrypt Enigma in World War II. That was until one day, it finally hit us. Peter found the line. We got it all the way down to a 5-card package. All we needed to do was side in after the first game, 5 cards, and we could smokescreen into a true 1-card combo FTK. This is the Speedburst Dragon Brain Research Lab Yummy FTK. 1 Yummy card, 1 Cupsy Wupsy was FTK. Alright, so this is the FTK. This is what we managed to figure out after hundreds of hours of playtesting. So I'll just blitz through all these. There's 15 Yummy cards, obviously. And then there's 21 hand traps. This is why we decided to play this deck. Alright. What we had was the Snatchy. This one you need for the FTK. Link Reaver, Almirage. Obviously all of these guys. This one that you need for the FTK. Obviously. The Starham. To do the FTK, we needed to play any Synchro 5 monster. So before we were playing Hyper Librarian, but we were playing Gardener's Floor because we were playing Dawn Dragster regardless. Vanadium Trisector, which you need for the FTK, and a Shuriken. So then for the side deck, what we were going to do was we obviously have hand traps for going second into VSK9 and just any big combo deck. Crossout and Callby. And then we have Brain Research Lab and Speedburst Dragon. So the idea of this FTK is you are essentially searching Brain Research Lab with Ancient Fairy Dragon, and you're searching Speedburst Dragon, which has 600 defense and Cupid Pitch, and you're turning the Snatchy into a Psychic Monster with Reprodocus. So the idea would be when you're going first, we would side out a couple cards in our extra deck that we don't need for the FTK, which would be these guys. So they go bye-bye. You side in the Suicide Squad. This is the Yummy FTK. Essentially how it works, all you need is any Yummy monster and any monster. It can be literally any monster. So you would normal summon Cupsy, our quick play spell, and link this off into our Snatchy.
I
use minion to reborn Cupsy, and then
didn't think that one through.
And then this is going to search here one of the Yummies plus Marshmallow, and you'll discard a card. And then you'll summon Mao, and then turn these into... And Goyo Defender is going to summon another Goyo Defender, and then Goyo Defender is going to summon another Goyo Defender. And then you're going to turn the one in the EMZ into Gravity Controller. Summon the Yummy in your hand.
Won't be able to use my extra deck, but like, oh no. Anyways.
Yummy Way. And use the effect, and you must summon your Snatchy under the EMZ, or you can't do the FTK. You summon back the 2 guys. Then we figure out these are going to turn into the Starham. You're going to discard a card from your hand to reborn here at level 1. And then this becomes a tuner. So then we can synchro these into our Cupid Pitch and the mandatory effect. This is what took us a long time to basically figure out the FTK, because this effect is mandatory, which is super duper annoying. So you must level modulate. So it becomes a level 3. And then we can turn these into Vanadium Trisector. So Chainlink 1 this to reborn at level 2 Synchro, Tuner. And Chainlink 2 Cupid Pitch is going to search from your deck to your hand Speedburst Dragon. So this is going to come back. And then at this point, you're going to go ahead and activate Surprise to summon back from your graveyard. So you summon back Marshmallow Yummy. And that's going to trigger to add back your Surprise. And now we figured out that these could turn into Ancient Fairy Dragon. Use the effect to gain 1,000 life points, blow up your field spell, and place Brain Research Lab from your deck to the field. And then from here, you can go ahead and special summon any monster, any other monster that you drew. It can literally be anything, any level 4 lower monster with the effect of Ancient Fairy Dragon. So we would even leave in all the Mole Chummies, so then our deck would be like 37 monsters. And then you can turn these into Reprodocus. Use Reprodocus to turn Snatchy into a Psychic monster. Activate Snatchy's effect 8 times, so we get stuck in the Brain Research Lab in here. Boo, 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 boo. And then this gets 8 counters. You activate the effect of Surprise to bounce this to your hand. You immediately take 8k damage, and then on resolution, Speed Burst triggers to summon and burn them for 8k. And that was the FTK. Like, comment, subscribe. Line was purified and simplified down to its cleanest state. One yummy monster and any random monster you drew could equal an FTK. Now you're probably asking, Jojo, why didn't you end up queuing this for the YCS? Well, the truth is, we really nearly did. However, one of the consequences of being an Australian player is that word of mouth spreads very quickly, especially through events like this where Australian regional events can only get 50 to 100 players, and our YCSs will at most get a couple hundred people. Everyone knows what each other is playing when they're walking around each other's desks and seeing what the top players are playing, and we realized that if someone found out what we were playing and word started to spread around that there was an FTK running around, everyone would find out immediately. And the deeper you go into a tournament, especially into Top Cut, you will virtually lose your element of surprise totally. We also noticed that by the time the YCS rolled around, that the Radiant Typhoon players started to adapt their deck lists. As more data came out and more deck lists came out after the 300th YCSs, the Radiant players started to adapt more hand traps into their side decks. They started main deck Ash Blossom, and they started side decking cards like Dominus Purge and Nibiru the Primal Being in their side decks. Our FTK strategy was contingent on our opponent playing an entirely board breaker strategy, and as time went on, we realized that the meta was not shaping out that way for those difficult matchups. Mole Chummies were fine because we didn't matter how many cards our opponent got, as the game would be over by the time they got the chance to use them. But as more Radiant players and more players in general started to play more hand traps, we made the decision not to end up playing the FTK. So, why am I even telling you this? Why am I even sharing this story with you? We didn't end up running the FTK for this event, so why am I even making this video? Well, it's because even though we ended up playing a completely different deck list, and we made top 16 playing a different strategy for this event, it's because even though we ended up playing a different deck list, it was the process that it took to get here which was most fun. I will for the rest of my life, but never forget those countless nights awake, Discord sessions with the boys and the Brain Research Lab team, bulk diving for the most insane obscure cards, optimizing and finding the best lines for this FTK, and at the end of the day, that's why I play Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't play the game for the prizing. I don't play the game for the money, or the clout, or the fame. I just play Yu-Gi-Oh! For the people, for the fun times like this, and all the ups and downs that it comes along with it. So even though Shaw might have wasted all that time figuring out a pointless FTK that we didn't even end up playing, it was the most fun I think I've had playing the game in years. This silly paper cardboard game has given me memories I'll remember for the rest of my life. Thanks for watching.
You're really ending it like that, huh? What a fucking lame-o. Couldn't commit to the bit till the end. Yeah, who'd have thought when you stop playing bad cards, the deck's actually, you actually have a good deck. I did win the first game, even though I went second. Never mind. That was whoever went first that won during these games. Whoa, holy shit, is that a Matty not the bad guy video? Last time that guy made a video was fucking 2 years ago.
It. There you go. No more ads. Thank you.
Hooray. All right, I'm going to go with the Moon Shadow. I just like the Moon Shadow better. The Champion of the Shoal is cool, but I don't want to be committed to Merfolk. I like Elementals better.